Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. Let's look at the second chapter of Unit 3 of Poorvi textbook for English Class 8. This is called The Magic Brush of Dreams. It's a short poem, a very delightful poem, and I'll tell you exactly what the poem is about, what is the message, what is the theme of the poem, and then we will do line by line explanation of this entire poem. There are some activities that you need to do. Let's look at the third one. Okay, the first one are more of individual choices. So let's arrange these words into different categories as given below. So what are the things that we are talking about? So among the things are, like, for example, paintbrush is a thing. Then you have twig is a thing, right? Bows is a thing. Fortress is also, among the three, that would be described as a thing. Then in emotions, you have things like joy, you have fear, these are all emotions, right? Even cold will be an emotion. If you talk about, oh, he was very cold towards me, then that would be an emotion. Then actions would be things like winding, drawing, etc. These would all be actions. Even feast, if you take it as a verb, he was feasting on the food, that would be actually that would be an action. Yeah, that would be an action, not an emotion. Okay, let's get started with the poem. But before that, I want to tell you about what exactly is the poem all about. So the Magic Brush of Dreams is a narrative poem. Narrative poem is something which tells you a story. It's not about emotions. Of course, it's about emotion, but it's also a lot about action, right? So it's a narrative poem which tells you a story of a kind and imaginative village girl whose name is Gopy. Okay, she's the main character in this particular poem. Now, one day while she was drawing pictures in the sand using a twig is something which you take off from a tree branch, she meets a mysterious man who secretly gives her a magic paintbrush. Now, the advantage of this magic paintbrush is that whatever you draw with it, it actually comes to life. It comes true. He tells her, but he puts one condition, that he tells her to use it only to help the poor and the needy, right? Not to use it for any negative purpose and not for any rich people. So when Gopy paints a bowl of khichdi, khichdi is a Hindi word that's essentially a dish which is made of rice and pulses, dal. The khichdi becomes real and people can eat it, right? The villagers come to know about it, and she uses for all positive purposes because she makes useful things for them, like food, like clothes, tools, and comfort for the poor, which they can use. So she's proving to be of use to the people in her village. Now the greedy zamindar, the landlord, hears about it, and he says that I want you to paint the richness for me, the rich things for me. But Gopy refuses and she's thrown into prison. And there, how she gets out, she paints a road and a horse to escape. And when the zamindar and his men chase her, she paints a mighty river. So what it shows, that she is extremely intelligent and clever, right? And manages to escape. And then she paints a grand feast to celebrate with the villagers. So that's the poem all about. Okay, so basically what it shows, the message is that goodness always emerges victorious over greed, and Gopy uses her gift for love and kindness, not for selfish gain. So this is the basic message of this particular poem. Okay, so let's now get started with the poem. Go and gather wild beans, Gopy. Go and fetch some rice. Go and pluck the mangoes and bring home something nice. So you see, what is the rhyme scheme? It is A, B, A, B. Okay, rice, nice. Here you say hand, sand. Though this one and this one is not exactly matching. So it can be A, B, C, B also. We can talk about it like that, right? So go and fetch. So it is possible that this person who is saying it most likely is her mother, right? The mother who is giving instructions to Gopy that she should go and collect some wild beans, some food items. It also shows go and fetch some rice, go and pluck the mango. So it shows that the family is dependent on nature for their food, and the tone is very simple and in everyday kind of language. But what is Gopy doing? Gopy is using this kind of a small twig in order to draw some pictures on the sand. But Gopy sits beneath the banyan tree. A twig is in her hand. She sits there drawing pictures in the sand, right? So she's sitting there under the banyan tree, and instead of doing any work which her mother wants her to do, she is using her creativity. She's using her imagination. And the banyan tree in Indian literature is generally used to symbolize wisdom and calmness, right? So that's what it kind of indicates. So she's sitting under the banyan tree, and obviously it is conveyed that she's very wise and very sensible and a very calm kind of a person. And she symbolizes that. The banyan tree symbolizes that, and she's using her creativity and imagination to draw something like this. The winds blow by and sweeps away the pictures in the sand, but this picture that she's drawing on the sand does not stay, because the wind comes and erases her art. Her efforts are temporary, and it is symbolic of how poor people's work often goes unnoticed and destroyed. It also shows impermanence, that nothing lasts forever. So these pictures that she's drawing in the sand also go away. They don't stay permanently. But on a stone there sits a man, a brush is in his hand. But now we are introduced to the second character of this particular poem, which is this mysterious man. And he's carrying this kind of a magic brush. He's a mysterious man whose identity is not revealed. And this introduction of this man introduces mystery and magic into the poem. Mystery because his identity is not revealed. Magic because this is a magic brush. So he gives this to Gopy. He looks around. He calls to Gopy. Come here, he whispers. Hush, we must not let the village know about this magic brush. So he's kind of, he's whispering, right? He whispers means something secretive is being conveyed. So he's being very cautious. He's being very secretive. But at the same time, he's being very kind, because he later on gives this magic brush to Gopy. And he does not want any greedy people in the village to know about this magic brush. So he wants it to be kept a secret. The word hush creates a sense of suspense. That's how you whisper and you hush. So this is a double kind of an emphasis on that. He slips the brush into her hand and tells her to be sure, paint not for the wealthy ones, but only for the poor. So he gives her the magic brush with an instruction that you should not paint for the wealthy people. You should paint only for the poor people. So it is a responsibility that he has entrusted to her, that the brush, should be used only for the poor people and not for the wealthy people. It should not be used for any kind of selfish gain. So that is the instruction that he is giving to Gopy. Did you gather wild beans, Gopy? Did you fetch some rice? Did you pluck the mangoes and bring home something nice? So again, this bring home something nice also means that you're dependent on nature, that the family is not very well off. And the same set of instructions have been repeated most likely by the mother. Obviously, she knows that Gopy has not carried out the instruction that she has given. And she's also unaware of what Gopy is doing right now. So the tone is questioning, because these are all question marks, right? The tone is questioning and talking of very practical kind of things. No beans, no rice, no mangoes. Gopy grins and runs inside. She paints a bowl of khichdi and waits until the paint has dried. So this time she replies. She says, no, I have not got any beans. I have not got any rice. I have not plucked any mangoes. And she grins, means she kind of smiles big, from ear to ear, she smiles, and she runs inside the house. And then she paints a bowl of khichdi. Okay. She testing the magic brush given to her by the mysterious man, and she waits until the paint has dried. Now, khichdi, as I said, is a simple Indian meal made by mixing rice and pulses, lentils, and cooking them with a little salt. You mix a bit of turmeric, and sometimes you also mix a few vegetables. It is considered a very comforting food. You generally eat it when you are unwell. or you also give it to the children or the elderly people, right? I remember my grandmother used to be very fond of khichdi. So she paints this khichdi and waits for the paint to dry. The bowl is full of khichdi gopi. Into the house the villagers stream. So she finds that the bowl has become full of khichdi, which can now be eaten. And hearing this, all the villagers come into their home. The young and the old all wish to see the magic brush of dreams. So the magic brush of dreams, it is a symbol of hope. It is a symbol of imagination. It is a symbol of creativity, right? So they all want to see this magic brush which can make anything come to life, right? So the word dreams shows that how art can also transform lives, because all the people in that village who are obviously not very well off, they all want to come and see the magic brush. She paints a muffler for a farmer. Muffler is something to keep the villager warm. A plow for another man. Plow is something which is used on the field. A shawl for a grandmother, and for a girl, a fan, right? So she's painting things which will be useful for different kinds of villagers, right? So she uses the brush to help everyone by giving them very practical and useful gifts. So that shows that she is very selfless. It also shows that she is obeying the instructions given by the mysterious man. And soon the news spreads far and wide through forests, fields, and plains, until the zamindar himself hears these magic games. So the magic becomes very famous. Everybody is talking about it. And because everybody is talking about it, the zamindar means, zameen means land in Hindi, and indar means the owner of a land. So basically, this is referring to the landlord, right? Someone who owns land and is a rich person. So he is representative of greed. He's also representative of power in this particular poem. So he kind of hears it and he wants to do something. He hears of this magic gains. Means people who are benefiting as a result of the magic and the kindness of Gopy. I order you to paint for me a fortress tall and grand, paint treasures, jewels, and riches rare enough to rule this land. So he orders her. So you see, immediately the tone changes. He's ordering her. So he's not requesting her, he's ordering her. And he says that I want fortress tall and grand. So he's wanting a huge kind of property, a fortress, which is very tall and very grand and rich looking. So he's looking for luxuries like treasures, jewelry, and riches. So he's looking, so he's a very selfish person. So he's looking for all this. It also shows that he's a very greedy person and he wants to rule over the entire land. So there you can see the contrast which has been built between Gopy's kindness and the zamindar's greed. Gopy bows and shakes her head. My lord, I can't comply. Comply means I cannot obey. I cannot obey your request. I swore to use this magic brush to help the needy by. So she says that, I have sworn means I have promised. I have promised the mysterious man, the person who gave me the brush, that I will use this magic brush only to help the needy people. So, so she wants to stay true to her promise, which she has made to the mysterious man. The zamindar roars means he's very angry and stamps his foot. Stamps his foot again in anger. He bellows to his men. He kind of screams to his men. Seize this brush means you take away this brush, and seize the girl means you arrest the girl. Throw her in the pen. Pen is another word for jail or prison. So the zamindar is basically misusing his power. He also is displaying his cruelty. And this particular stanza, 4 lines, is a symbol that he's oppressing the weak girl called Gopy because he's misusing his power. Now Gopy waits out inside the cell upon a cold mud floor until the zamindar returns and shouts through the door. So she's now imprisoned. She's now in jail. And obviously this is, it shows that injustice has been done to Gopy. And she's also on a cold mud floor. So which means that she's not feeling comfortable inside the cell. Cell also means the jail, prison, the small room in which she would be there. And the zamindar returns and once again shouts at her. he is holding the brush. He thunders aloud. You see all the words like roars, stamps, thunders. It all conveys a very aggressive kind of a personality. Paint my fortress tall. Paint gold and rubies, emeralds, different kind of jewelry and diamonds, and you shall leave this hall. So if you do that, I will agree to release you from this jail. So he says, so what he's doing is that in this line, he's tempting her with freedom. That if you do all this, I will set you free. So now it is a test of Gopy's character, whether she will agree to this condition, this offer made by the cruel zamindar. That night, the zamindar lies in bed, dreaming of his gold, while Gopy paints a winding road, a horse both strong and bold. But Gopy has some other idea in her mind. So what she does, she's given the brush by the zamindar. So what she does is that while zamindar is lying in his bed and while he's dreaming that, oh, I will get a lot of gold, because he thinks that Gopy will agree to his condition and she will paint the riches, the rubies, the diamonds, the jewelry, etc. So he thinks that he's going to become very rich. But what Gopy is doing is that she's painting a road. Winding road means a road which kind of, goes in different kind of directions. And that is a symbol of her freedom. And she also paints a horse which is both strong and very bold. So basically, this particular lines convey this contrast between the greedy dreaming of the zamindar and the brave, intelligent action of Gopy. Okay. The road leads out of prison gates. The horse she swiftly urges. Gopy leaps on and gallops fast through fields and many villages. So what she does is that she leads the road out of prison gates. That particular winding road, it goes outside the prison gate, and the horse she swiftly urges. Gopy leaps on and gallops fast. Now these two things, the road and the horse, come to life. They become real. So Gopy jumps onto the horse and gallops fast through the fields and many villages, right? So basically, it is showing, this particular stanza is showing movement. It's showing also a lot of excitement and her freedom. It is Gopy. She's back again. Say the villagers merry and kind. But Gopy keeps on painting still, with the zamindar's men following behind. So she's continuing to paint even as she has escaped from jail, from prison. So she's kind of obviously very happy. And I mean, the villagers are very happy that she has escaped, and they kind of exclaim that, oh, she's back again. But she keeps on painting to show that the zamindar's men are running behind her. Then she paints a mighty river, and that is her big idea. She paints a mighty river which is extremely wide, and its currents are fast and deep. So it shows that it's a very furious kind of a river. The zamindar and all his men stop short and cannot leave. Stop short means they stop on the banks of the river. If this is the river, she has jumped this side. This is Gopy here. And these people stop at the banks of the river. They cannot leave because the river is very wide. So the river becomes a barrier, and the river becomes a symbol of justice. Also, it becomes a symbol of separation between good and evil, because the evil people cannot jump over the river, wide river. Now should I paint a beast to leap and chase you through? Stop this chase or it will feast on you and you and you. So now she's talking to the zamindar's men, zamindar and his men. So she says, should I paint a beast, a demon, some kind of a ferocious animal which will leap over this river and it will chase you, it will run after you. So I'm telling you, you stop running after me or it will feast, means it will eat you and you and you. So all the individual people, it will eat you. So what she's doing now is to issue a warning to all those people, the zamindar as a people. So basically she's saying that I'm using my art as power, but this is unlike zamindar's power. It is power with purpose. The purpose of saving herself, the purpose of ensuring that they don't do any evil to her. So the repetition, you, and you, it creates a sense of fear that she's telling each person, individually that you will be eaten, you will also be eaten, and you will also be eaten. So she's making it very individual. She's not saying that all of you, each person, now everybody will feel the fear at an individual level. So she's basically, this entire stanza is a symbol of creative power defeating the cruelty of zamindar and his men. The zamindar cries, "No, no, no, no more. I will leave. I will go away." He turns and flees. His men behind dare not choose to stay. So the zamindar gets scared. He says, "No, no, no, I don't do that. I will go away." So the evil of the zamindar is defeated by courage and wit and intelligence, not by violence. She has not used violence. She has only said that I will use something like this and it will eat all of you up individually. So she's basically used that warning of the which will be created by her art. So she has used a lot of intelligence. And no, no, no more, again, like this, you and you, no, 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 again it shows fear, it shows surrender by the zamindar and his men, and his men behind dare not choose to stay, that they also dare not stay again there. Now, Gopy paints for the village folk. So now Gopy goes back to the village and she paints for the folks, means the people of the village. She paints for the people of the village a feast of sweets and tea. So she paints sweets, she paints tea for them, a courtyard bright and a band to play. She paints a large courtyard which is very bright where all of them can assemble. And she also paints a band and songs of victory, right? And basically to say that everybody can be extremely victorious out here. So her magic now truly belongs to the people of her village. So it represents happiness, it represents peace, and it represents the restoration of justice. So this particular poem has been adapted from a folk tale, which is why it has got that flavor of being a very a particular poem which is very folkish in his tone. Now let's look at some other notes. What does the poem convey? The poem is a moral fable with these kind of things which have a lesson, which tell you a lesson, right? They are called a moral fable, and it is in the form of poetry. It talks about using talent to draw and the power that Gopy uses in a responsible way, unlike the zamindar who behaves in an irresponsible way and an evil way, cruel way. Kindness and creativity can make the world a better place, like Gopy demonstrates. Greed and selfishness can lead to downfall, like what happens to the zamindar. Gopy, what does Gopy symbolize? She symbolizes innocence, she symbolizes courage, she also symbolizes selflessness, that she's not doing it for herself, she's doing it for the people of her village, the poor people of her village. The magic brush, what does it symbolize? It symbolizes imagination, it symbolizes kindness or compassion, and the power of good deeds, right? The zamindar, what does he symbolize? So these 4, 5, and 6 points are very important. The zamindar represents arrogance, he represents cruelty, he also represents greed, right? He's dreaming of becoming a very rich and powerful man. The poem celebrates creative art, right? Whatever she draws, from a khichdi to a muffler to a plow to a fan, whatever she draws, a courtyard, the tea, etc., right? As a force for good. What is the moral of the poem? The moral of the poem is that true magic lies not in power, but in how you use it with kindness, honesty, and courage. What is the theme of the poem? The poem highlights the importance of kindness, generosity, and moral responsibility. It teaches that real magic lies not in power, but how we use it. And Gopy's compassion and kindness and honesty contrast with the zamindar's greed and selfishness. The poem also celebrates art and imagination as powerful tools that can bring joy and change lives. It reminds us that helping others is the truest form of magic. So please take a screenshot and you can use this in your answers. I will be doing a test paper for the entire book later, but this you can use in your answers. Finally, I will also tell you the main points of Gopy, because anything from this story, from this chapter, this poem will be about Gopy. So she's a simple, imaginative, and kind-hearted village girl. She values helping others more than wealth or comfort. She also keeps her promise to the mysterious man. She's brave, and she's kind of, does not get scared by the zamindar's warnings or given to zamindar, because anyone else could have thought that, oh, he's telling me let me get free by painting what he wants. She's very creative and very clever. That's how she manages to escape. She remains humble and generous even after gaining magical powers. She does not misuse them. Through her, the poet shows that true strength lies in goodness and courage, not in riches or force. So this is about Gopy. I hope you have understood this entire poem. Simple poem, but I've explained it in great detail, and you will be able to answer any question that is asked from this particular poem. Please subscribe to the channel, share the video, and I will see you now with the next chapter. Tata, bye bye. Thank you very much. Namaskar.